Welcome to New Stripe City, a podcast for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie, and I'm coming back to you guys again with a recap of the Bengals preseason game against the Washington Redskins. Obviously, the game just ended. I'm going to hit you guys with a couple of my takeaways, give you an instant reaction, and let you know my thoughts on what happened. So, number one, the pass rush. Oh my God. The pass rush was here in a big way, whether it was Chris Smith, whether it was even Michael Johnson, or you look at other guys like Carl Lawson, Jordan Willis. This pass rush is going to be special. I'm not even trying to sugarcoat anything. This pass rush is going to be special. I mean, it's night and day. Compared to years past, these guys just have the tools to do what it takes to take us to the next level. So I'm very excited about that. Looking at the defensive line, really didn't see much from Andrew Billings. I don't know if it was that he just didn't jump out to me or what it was. He didn't do much, but Michael Johnson playing at defensive tackle was definitely huge. He was on the bubble. I've talked on some of these previous shows saying that Michael Johnson, isn't necessarily a lot to make this roster, but definitely stepped it up, had some great plays. Other than that, we look on the defensive line. We talked about Andrew Billings. Let's also talk about Lawson. Lawson was back this game. Lawson was wreaking havoc. I mean, we have speed edge rushers. I never thought that I'd say that we have that, but we have that now. Chris Smith got in against the first teamers, did very well. Let's also talk about some other positives. The offensive line. A lot of people have been saying that this season is going to go as far as the offensive line takes them. The offensive line proved today, again, with another solid performance. Definitely had some good plays here and there. Definitely protected Andy. Definitely made some holes in the running game. So offensive line was also good. We got to see John Ross, not Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill. We'll talk about him first. So Jeremy Hill had a great game, and then he actually got hurt with an ankle injury. So that has some cause for concern just to see exactly what's going on there. He was on the medical trainer's table, so I'm sure we'll hear more after things develop. But didn't seem like it was a major injury, but could be something that could open that opportunity for Joe Mixon. Giovanni Bernard was also in the rotation tonight and looked very good. Tyler Eifert was held out of the game, which makes sense. No use in risking putting Tyler Eifert and his health in jeopardy. I mean, that was a very smart move. But moving on, let's go to John Ross. John Ross definitely got some action tonight. Seemed like there was a little bit of chemistry off, especially with the second team. But on the first team, he did take a reverse. And is definitely still developing his role, which is understandable because it seemed like Andy tried to hit him with a deep target, and it was somewhat off, but it seems to me it's more so kind of like a chemistry and timing thing. I mean, we do know that John Ross, just got activated to the active roster and things of that nature. So it's going to take some time, but he definitely showed that he is a weapon. Alex Erickson proved that there's no taking him off of this roster. I mean, I think that was proven tonight. We didn't really hear much from who am I thinking of? We didn't really hear much from our rookie out of Tennessee. His name escapes me right now for the moment, but we didn't really see much from him tonight. Other than that, all around, it was a pretty good game. It seemed like they were kind of, in a sense, trying to keep Trey Carson. It seems like they're trying to possibly hide him for one of those practice squad roster spots because we didn't see much of them. We saw stuff like this in the past with Deshaun Williams, so maybe they're doing the same with Trey Carson. Thought it was interesting that we didn't see him. The kicker battle has to go to Randy Bullock. I mean, Randy Bullock had a couple of clutch kicks early on in this game, and Jake Elliott missed one. So to me, I think I can see them keeping Jake Elliott on the practice squad, but definitely Randy Bullock is looking like he's the guy. Vontaze Burfict was all around on this field, had the pick six, right before the half. I mean, this guy was doing this thing. There was some cause for concern, though, because Vontaze did get taken off the field with an injury. It was reported initially that it was his back. Then, they said that he also went to the concussion protocol. So hopefully Vontaze is in good shape. And you definitely notice a drop-off like you always do in the defense as soon as Vontaze was off the field. But the defense looked great. I mean, you saw for the most part the majority of the starters back. You saw Drake Kirkpatrick back. You saw Clayton Fagellum actually stand in. And I was kind of confused on who was standing in for who, but I think that Clayton Fagellum was actually standing in for Sean Williams. And then you also had Darren Smith in for George Iloka. So George Iloka did not play in this game. But, I mean, you honestly really didn't realize it. And then Kevin Minter also played in the game and did very well as well. You had Nick Vigil in there. Jordan Evans came away again. Very impressed by him. Let's give some love. I don't know how I went through the defensive line, and didn't talk about Ryan Glasgow. This dude was all over the place. He's definitely a lunch pail player. Definitely a guy that could, fight for some playing time. I think that this guy is definitely going to be a pretty solid player. But overall, honestly, the biggest theme from this entire game was how good this rookie class was. Whether it was Joe Mixon, cutting and making a couple of guys miss, whether it was Jordan Willis coming off the edge and completely destroying guys, making them fumble, whether it was, Ryan Glasgow blowing up a play. This team, this rookie class is special. And even outside of that, you look at the offensive line, we saw some interesting stuff with Andre Smith starting as the backup left tackle. Starting on the second unit, as the backup left tackle. That was kind of eyebrow raising. And then you also saw guys like whether it was Hopkins or whether it was Westerman, those guys look pretty good. So overall, it just seems like the future is very bright. William Jackson in the third again had another very solid performance. Actually had a play where he shut some stuff down. I mean, this team looks very good. Even though the Bengals lost this preseason game, that score has no indication on how this game actually went. So was very excited to see the offense get rolling. A.J. Green was on fire. It seemed like he just was doing whatever he wanted. Even though it was preseason, he still had his way again with Josh Norman. I mean, come on. There was like no way to stop A.J. Green this game. There were so many positives in this game and so few negatives. It just was a pretty solid all-around game. For the negative side, A.J. McCarron, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if A.J. McCarron was trying to play his way out of Cincinnati tonight or what happened. But it seems like the whole thing of him, not getting his wish and not getting an opportunity to go somewhere else kind of has played out this entire preseason. He hasn't really been too solid. We actually got to see Jeff Driscoll get in. Jeff Driscoll had some pretty good plays there at the end, but couldn't finish the drive off. And it seemed like it was more so he was only kind of successful with those plays that kind of catered to his strength and his athletic abilities. So we weren't able to see him actually get it done when it was when the time was need be. But overall, just like from everything that we saw, it was a complete exact opposite of the last game, which I tried to warn you guys to calm down about the last game because it wasn't a dress rehearsal. These guys were still developing chemistry, and you noticeably saw the difference between the last game and this game. And this is kind of what I put my stock into, and this is what I kind of expected to see from the Bengals when they came out. And just looking at the three running backs, man, it's with Joe Mixon, Jeremy Hill, and Giovanni Bernard, these teams are in trouble. I mean, you don't lose anything when either of these guys go out there. And it was great to see them all play and be effective, whether it was Jeremy Hill running in for the touchdown, whether it was Joe Mixon breaking off a block, not breaking off a block, but breaking off a run, or whether it was Gio catching a pass out of the backfield to hit the first down. All three guys definitely brought it. So I'm definitely excited to see what's going forward this season. The offensive line, I can't say enough. Cedric Ogbuehi and Jake Fisher, I really didn't notice them. And usually when you don't notice anyone on the offensive line, that's a good thing. So the offensive line definitely did their part. I'm excited to see what we have coming up next. It seems like Tyler Eifert is going to be out for the rest of the preseason, which is a very smart move. I definitely commend the Bengals for being smart about that and not, risking him or putting him out there with a risk to injury. But I really look forward to the next game, which is really actually I don't look forward to that because it's really not going to be anybody that's important that's out there. So I'm ready for this next game to get over. We always end it with Indianapolis. I'm not sure how many guys will really play. It'll probably be more of a AJ McCarron, Jeff Driscoll kind of game. I doubt that we see the starters at all. Being that, Eifert wasn't active, I'm pretty sure they'll do the same thing with AJ Green, Andy Dalton, because we can't afford to lose any of those guys. I'm sure with Tez being injured and Hill being injured, I'm pretty sure those guys will stay out. So maybe we'll see Joe Mixon get a start. Who knows? Maybe not. I mean, there's no way to really say how long these guys will play the next game because it's really something that doesn't really matter and truly matter. But this game, if you watched it, was definitely an exciting game to watch. The defense is definitely back. I'd love to see how they would match up and how this defensive line matches up against a Pittsburgh. I mean, to see the constant pressure that these guys were getting on the Redskins against a Pro Bowl tackle and Trent Williams and against a pretty decent line in Washington was pretty amazing. And to see the vast difference of Kirk Cousins and how he played against us last year, where he almost threw for, a half 1,000 yards on this last year compared to him running for his life, it seemed like every snap. Oh, man, I just really can't wait to see what happens. The guys that were losers, I think, tonight, I think Will Clark was a loser tonight. I think Marcus Hardison was. I don't even really honestly remember seeing him in the game. If I had to think about some other guys, just Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott was definitely a big loser tonight. AJ McCarron, I can't really say. I mean, he played bad, but I can't call him a loser because there's no way that they'll cut him. But, I think Eric Winston, too, even though he got, a lot of heavy snaps at right tackle, he really didn't. I really don't see him making this roster. So make sure you guys definitely jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, what you thought. The Bengals did great. Who your player of the game was. If I had to give my player of the game, it's tough, man. I really can't even give it to one sole person. But if I had to look on the defense, man, it's so tough. I'd probably say Jordan Willis. Jordan Willis has just been tearing it up this entire preseason. But, I mean, you had guys like Chris Smith doing their thing too, and Michael Johnson did his thing. Michael Johnson definitely cemented it. But let me know who you guys think was your favorite player. And if you didn't catch it earlier, I actually also did a halftime recap with the AFC Northerners. So make sure you go over to their YouTube page and subscribe there. I will be there from time to time. I'll bounce back. Obviously, this is my channel, but I also will be helping them and appearing as a guest on the AFC Northerner side. So if you don't know what their YouTube channel is, it's actually called the AFC Northerners. So make sure you follow them. And as always, make sure you guys subscribe. We're still doing the Ocho Cinco giveaway. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, is going out. I mean, this is a certified, authentic Chad Ocho Cinco, autograph with a photo. And I mean, who wouldn't want that? I got the Ocho jersey on right now. But yeah, as you guys know, make sure that you comment, subscribe, like this video, do whatever you need to do, share with some of your friends, because this is for the diehards. But as usual, I'll end this with a who day, all day, every day, and especially on Sunday. Who day? Let's get it.